Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. It is time for the recruiting report brought to you by the one and the only Seawells Food Caterers in Columbia. Make sure you get down for lunch. Daily luncheon buffet at Seawells is what's the French word? Magnifique, magnificent. What's the French? There's a French word for it. Magnificent, something like
Magnifico.
that. What is it?
Magnifico.
I
don't know.
You know French?
No, that's
you
probably so wrong.
French?
I have no clue.
Yeah, it sounds like it to me. It's only $14.50, 11 to 2 p.m., 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. And, of course, got a big day coming up Friday, Roast Beef Friday. So make sure you get out there for that, Chris. You got to get there.
Fried chicken, glazed salmon, and teriyaki glazed salmon, as a matter of fact, and meatloaf tomorrow.
Oh, meatloaf, Mom, the meatloaf. And that salmon, of course, fresh out of the Congaree River. You can't find fresher salmon anywhere.
4 Eyes.
I love driving across the
Pins.
Congaree and watching the salmon swim upstream. It's pretty amazing.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Different color salmon. It's not really pink. I'm not really sure.
It's more of a brown.
It's more of a brownish color, yeah. And for the very best in the catering business, SeawellsCateringSC.com is the website, and their phone number, 803-771-7385. Start with some football. I like South Carolina's chances right now with linebacker A.J. Holloway out of Beaufort, Georgia, from what he's telling us. He's 6'3", 225. That's good size, Chris.
Indeed. Solidly built.
Like that size at linebacker. He's got his commitment going to come up not long after he takes these officials. He's got USC June 7th, and then that comes after a visit to Louisville, and then he's down for Georgia Tech June 14th. Unless he makes his decision before then, all depends on how he feels. He's also scheduled for Kansas on June 21st, but really Louisville, I get the feeling Louisville, South Carolina, those are going to be the key visits, and Georgia Tech's a factor as well since it's so close to home. And he visited with USC linebackers coach Clayton White. He came by the school, and Shane Beamer's been on him as well. They've made him aware he's a top target. And he also came in for a game at USC in the 9th grade. He was in for a spring practice in March, and he took in a junior day in January. So he's been there a good bit, and he's got family that lives in the Columbia area. In fact, he said his brother plays college football. He thought it was for Benedict, but he wasn't 100% sure. But that would be very close, of course, to the USC campus. So the visits will be a deciding factor, he said. He likes all the coaches at South Carolina, and he knows that he's really he said they're really high up on his board, and they've got him high up on their board. He likes the area. He likes the facilities at South Carolina. He sat down in meetings when he came in for a visit, sat down with Clayton White in the meetings, listened to him talking to his linebackers, and he likes the way that he just runs linebackers out there, and they get a lot of play. So he liked that as well. And, of course, Beamer calls him all the time, texts him a lot, and so they got a good relationship. USC, Louisville, Georgia Tech stand the strongest with him at this point. He also visited Tech in January and April, and he was at Louisville for their spring game in April. Now, South Carolina's basketball class lost one of its high school recruits, 6'6" Trent Noah. Baxter, Kentucky, announced today that he'd asked for and received a release from his letter of intent. He committed to USC over South Florida, Seton Hall, Western Kentucky, Butler, St. Louis, and Stanford back on August the 1st. Signed his LOI in November. In his announcement, he stated that he plans to reopen his recruitment. He averaged close to 30 points per game this season, including 48 points in the state, I said semifinals, but it was actually the quarterfinals where he scored 48 points. So make sure you get that right. His deletion from the class gives Gamecock coach Lamont Paris one scholarship spot to fill on his roster. Sticking with basketball, Joe Tipton of On3 reported Duke transfer center 7'1" Christian Reeves has narrowed his list to Clemson, Vanderbilt, Florida, and Oklahoma. The Charlotte native played in 16 games over 2 seasons with the Blue Devils and averaged 2 points and 1 rebound per game. Baseball. Right-handed pitcher Brandon Stone, 6'6", 220 of Johnson County Junior College, Kansas, committed to USC. He's a native of Overland Park, Kansas, and was recruited in high school by LSU, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Tennessee, and Wichita State. Thus far this season, he is 10-1 with a 3.23 ERA. He has struck out 88 and walked 14 in 78 innings of work. Also, right-hander Bradley Anderson, 6'1", 152 of Fox Creek, committed to USC for the 2025 class. Back to football. Gaffney offensive tackle Shed Surratt has set June 14th for his commitment date. He has official visits set to Purdue June 14th and USC June 21st. He also visited USC for the spring game and a junior day in January. He also has offers from Colorado, Florida, Florida State, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, East Carolina, and Virginia Tech. Ohio State transfer offensive lineman Enoch Vimahi, who was reported as planning to visit USC this week, committed to Washington. UTEP transfer offensive lineman Stephen Hubbard wrapped up his official visit to USC earlier today. Athlete Lagonza Hayward, 6'1", 200 of Lyons, Georgia, has USC in his top 7, with Tennessee, Florida State, Southern Cal, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. USC offered running back Jeffrey Overton, 5'11", 187 of Woodbridge, Virginia. He has officials set to Virginia June 7th, Maryland June 14th, Virginia Tech June 21st, Tennessee, Oregon, Penn State, and Nebraska, some of his other offers. USC offered 2026 athlete Braylon Outlaw, 6 feet 210 of Pike Road, Alabama, 89 tackles and 7 sacks last season, and USC offered 2026 athlete Travis Johnson, 6'3", 170 of Chesapeake, Virginia. There you go with recruiting. Brought to you by Seawells.